Well, what's up again, guys? Brian here at 3 Tier, and I'm gonna be a little bit personal today. No intro, no outro. I just kind of want to give my thoughts out for a number of reasons. Some of you might not remember this, but if you can believe it, it's actually been exactly 1 year today that this video will be uploaded, that my father passed away. Now, before I begin, I just want to let you guys know, you guys don't have to send any, sorry for your loss, or hope you're doing okay. You don't have to send any of those kind of comments. I would say for the most part, I'm doing fairly all right. To be quite honest, most days I don't even really think about my dad not being around anymore, because I'd say for really the last number of years of his life, I didn't really get to see him all that much. And I can honestly say that our relationship wasn't really based on much love. It was more of a slight mutual respect. It was more of a, I know what you're doing with your life, and you can do that. This is what I'm going to do. Let's just stay out of each other's way. And I can't say it was always like that. I think there was a period when I was much younger that I think we had some resemblance of a real father-son relationship, but not entirely. And I guess over the previous year, I got to learn a little bit more about my dad, especially different sides of him that I didn't know existed. And I guess I can have a little bit of sympathy. He didn't really have much of a father-son relationship with his dad, so I don't know why I should have expected that with me. So I'm not too upset about that. The thing that's kind of bothered me the most is when I realized, what did I really lose the most? And what I really lost was a sense of real safety, and I lost a giant pool of knowledge. My father was without question the smartest man I ever knew. And while he was around, I always had the sense that if I ever found myself in trouble, that he would always have the answers. And that's what I would say I lost the most of. I don't really feel too safe most days. I don't really have as much confidence as I once did, and I kind of find myself not taking as many chances. I think the easiest way I deal with his passing is I try to put myself in a position where I wouldn't really needed his presence or his confidence, so I don't really like to take too many chances. So however, I've had a number of very interesting moments where I could have used some of his advice, but maybe just based off of what I had experienced from him, or lessons that he had taught me, I was able to kind of come up with my own judgment. And I could say that in a number of moments, it really helped me out. It kind of did assure me that some of his knowledge did kind of rub off on me in a very positive way, and I think that'll continue it, because I can't tell you how many times since his passing that someone would walk up to me and say, "Wow, you look just like your dad." I don't know, maybe it's because of the hair. My dad was bald by the time I tended to like to cut my hair every week, so maybe it was that. I'm not entirely sure. And my mom never fails to say to me how much my dad is still very much alive in me, because I guess in a sense there's parts of him that I remind her of, which I think is a good thing. I'd say the current state of the family is a much, I'd say, more balanced place than when it was when my dad immediately died, because I tell you, the situation was completely chaotic. I mean, all of us completely fell apart, simply because my dad was really the heart and the rock of the family. We all kind of gravitated towards him, and it was really him who was really he was the provider for everybody. He was the one we all went to. So to kind of lose that and to kind of have to be on our own is, I guess, a challenge that we're all still kind of dealing with. And it still shocks me how little I really knew about my dad, because as memorials surfaced sometime after he passed away, I got to hear all these really interesting stories about things that my dad did and things he said that were completely alien to me, and still puzzled me. And it was even more so when I actually went back home to visit his grave, and I got to talk to my uncle and my grandma about it. And they too said some things about my dad that I wasn't aware of. And it always kind of bothered me why my dad felt the need to kind of open up to everyone else, but he couldn't really open up to some of us, his own kids. And so that's why for a good portion, or for many years, he always kind of felt like a stranger. Why I couldn't quite understand why he wouldn't be more open with us. But I think over time, I feel I might become I might be a little bit more at peace with that. Although it's not very comforting knowing that you're the last, you really are the last blood member of your family line. That does put a little bit of pressure on me, which is, I don't know what'll happen. Maybe I will be the last member of my bloodline. Maybe I won't. I have no idea. Only time will tell. But if I can say the biggest advice that I could say for anyone who loses a loved one, the best, I can't really, I'm not sure if this advice will work because, maybe your relationship with your loved one was a lot stronger than mine was. But if there's one thing that really helped me the most was you try not to think about it. You kind of keep moving on and you focus on other elements of your life that you can focus on. And in some cases, there are a couple of positives. I'm not saying my dad's passing was positive at all, but I can say that there were elements that I could appreciate. For example, I got to spend a lot more time with my mom, who in the previous number of years I hadn't really gotten to see or talk to very often. She's currently off doing her own thing, being happy as far as I know, but I do get to see her a lot more often. I get to talk to her a lot more often. It's much more comforting. Coming home does not feel as much of a kind of stressful environment as my old house was, because trust me, work is very, very stressful, and coming home was very, very stressful too. Now work, it's more of like work is stressful, but when I come home it's just quiet. It gets kind of lonely here. I spend a lot of time here by myself, so I just try to keep myself busy and not focus on the silence, which, trust me, it can get kind of spooky at times, just being in this big house by yourself all the time. But I do make sure to kind of talk to a few people every once in a while, just to kind of keep my sanity sane. And another bit of advice that I can give is try to wonder, like, if there was any good part of your parent or loved one that you miss the most, try to wonder what they would want you to do moving forward. Getting to hear a little bit more of the side of my dad that I never got to really know has helped me a little bit, because it's allowed me to kind of wonder, it's allowed me to kind of go into this mindset of what would knowing dad, what would he have said to this, or what would he want me to do. And that has really helped me a lot. In a number of cases, it's helped me get out of a lot of really tricky and trouble situations over the past year. So I'm very thankful for that even with him not really here, even though he physically is not here, there's just something about his presence or his mindset that has stayed with me, and I'm very thankful for that, because I would say my dad was a very logical person. He didn't really panic too much. He was always able to keep a cool head, and I think that's one of the best traits that I've inherited from him, because I don't like to panic, and even under the worst circumstances, I like to kind of keep a cool head. I like to kind of gather myself and think very logically, because if I'm too emotional about something, I might do something stupid, and that will just cause even more problems. So in conclusion, if I could say, am I in a better position now than I was a year ago when my dad passed away? I can't say I'm in a better place, but I could say I'm in a better position to begin to start moving myself into a better place, because there's still a number of problems that I still deal with, both you know, personally about my current situation that hopefully will be dealt with in the coming year. And when they do, trust me, you guys will see a major change in me. Maybe you'll see I'll be a little bit more active. I might have a little bit more enthusiasm, a little bit more energy. But as it stands now, I'm just trying to keep myself as busy as possible and not trying to focus on all the problems and negativity that I have to deal with day to day. Plus, I have all you guys to keep me going, so that's a major plus. That's one thing that's never changed, and I hope it won't change moving forward, and hopefully it'll get better. So yeah, that is just my quick little summary video of what it's been like without my dad for 1 year. But I'm really curious to know some of your guys' stories. If you guys have lost a loved one, I'm really curious, how did you handle their passing like a year after that? Like, did you just... I'm just really curious to know, because, you know, everyone deals with grief in their own way. So maybe my way is different from your way, and if that's something you feel like sharing, you know, don't be shy. Trust me, I'm a very respectful person to people's privacy or their personal issues. So if you don't feel like sharing anything, that's fine. If you do, then thank you. So with that, I'd like to just thank you guys for continuing to watch this channel after all that has happened over this past year, and hopefully I will see you next time in a future video. So with that said, I will see you guys next time.